Hello and welcome back to another episode of Geared Toward Gear. My name is Sean and I'm so glad you're here. If you're a first time viewer, please do smash that subscribe button for future content and check the description for all of my social media outlets. Primarily Instagram and Facebook is where I'm going to be doing most of my social media. Some giveaways, potentially exclusive videos, things like that. So check those links in the description. So today I'm going to be reviewing a knife. And it's one that was given to me by a viewer. So this is my first kind of viewer gift. And there was a whole video on that unboxing. But this is the knife that he sent me. And this is the review. Also, I will mention that I'm trying something new with the audio. So I'm recording this audio with my earbuds with the built-in microphone. So hopefully the audio experience is a little better for you guys than it was previously. Let me know in the comments if this sounds better than other videos that you've seen from me. So this is the Ganzo Firebird model FH21, and this is a $30 knife. So just keep that in mind. $30 is what will get you this knife. So let me open the box first and kind of show you some of the things on the box. Well, I don't have to open it first. And I still don't quite fully understand Ganzo and Firebird and the differences, but on the box it says Ganzo knives will use new logo, and it has the Firebird logo. It also says, Firebird folding knife. Thank you for choosing Firebird knives produced by Ganzo or Ganzo. So I'm not sure who manufactures it. All of their social media is Ganzo knife or Ganzo knife. So I'm still kind of unsure as to how Ganzo and Firebird relate to each other. But with that said, this is a Firebird made by Ganzo and designed by Firebird, model FH21. And the way these are packaged is in a simple cardboard box, as you saw. A little bit of bubble wrap. And before we get into the knife, something kind of interesting that I pointed out during the unboxing is it does come with a microfiber kind of cleaning cloth / case with their Firebird logo on it, which I thought was pretty neat for that price point to include that. In addition, they give you one single Band-Aid, which I thought was pretty freaking hilarious. And at first when I opened this, I thought the Band-Aid was put in there by John, the subscriber who sent this to me, but it's clearly a Ganzo Firebird bandage, so a Band-Aid in case I cut myself, which I haven't yet with this knife. So with that said, let's get into the knife itself. So John, when he sent this or told me he wanted to send this, he thought that it would change my mind about the Ganzo or Ganzo or Firebird brand in general. And I will tell you that it has. So let me bring in the one Ganzo knife that I own that I bought probably 7 years ago. And this thing is a piece of crap. And what I mean by that is it is ridiculously heavy. The action is not fantastic. It didn't come sharp out of the box. I put a decent edge on it and I just dumped it into one of my medical kits because it does now have a sharp edge on it, and it's not something that's going to see a ton of use, but it's a freaking chunk. It's super thick, super heavy, not something I would ever EDC. And so I bought it probably 6-7 years ago and put it in a bag and have not touched it since. And I actually forgot that I even owned this until I think John or somebody else pointed out in another video when I talked about that medical kit. He saw this knife. And I totally forgot that I even owned a Ganzo. So that is my only experience with Ganzo, and it was not a great one. And so since then, I've just not purchased any Ganzo knives, Firebirds, San Remos, any of that stuff. So John said, I'm going to send you something that's going to change your mind. And it did. So it's a Chinese produced knife. I have no problem with that. With an overall length of 7.75 inches or 196 millimeters. The blade length is going to be 3.38 inches or 86 millimeters. And the blade steel, believe it or not, is D2. And I have read and watched videos of a number of people taking this blade and sending it in to a metallurgist to have tested. And this is in fact genuine D2 steel. So this is not some Chinese company putting D2 on the blade and, you know, trying to pass it off as D2 when it's not actually D2. This is in fact, if I can get a good angle there, D2 steel. Firebird knife made by Ganzo, FH21 is the model number. Genuine D2 steel. So for 30 bucks, D2 steel, that's already a good deal in my opinion. It's a satin finish blade, which is very attractive. Just the blade shape, I'm digging quite a lot. I really like the blade shape. I tend to prefer just kind of the more classic blade shapes, drop points, things like that. So this blade shape is definitely pushing my buttons in a good way. The handles are made of G10, and it does appear to be very much genuine G10, and it's got some texturing to it. It's not polished G10, but it's not overly aggressive, kind of a medium texture with a little bit of embellishment with these cutouts, kind of the sunburst almost design, which I think looks nice. So the handles are an A+ in my book. It is a flipper, as you saw, and it does ride on ball bearings. So again, 30 bucks, D2 steel, ball bearing flipper with some of the best action that I have on any flippers that I've owned. It reminds me of the Honey Badger, which I've done a video on, and just how buttery smooth those are. This reminds me of that. Just, you know, no wrist flick, very little effort. It just shoots out every time, very reliably. So excellent action on bearings with a great steel. All good things. It comes in 3 colors. You can get this in black, green, or blue. So on the Ganzo or Ganzo website, they call this blue. On Amazon, they call this blue. But in my opinion, it is gray blue. On camera, it's coming out as a little more blue than it really is in person. It's kind of a pale gray blue, in my opinion, and I think it's quite attractive. I don't think I own anything with this color. Maybe the Spyderco Dragonfly 2, the one that came out recently in Toku steel. It's kind of that blue-gray color. But I'm really digging this color, and I'm really digging the knife, and I'll probably buy it in all of its colors, both the green and the black. The weight on this is going to be 3.4 ounces or 96 grams, so it does fall under my 4-ounce kind of limit. Actually, my 3.5 ounce preference. So the weight is not an issue for me whatsoever. Fit and finish is nice. Blade centering is just dead perfect. If I can get a good focus on that. Dead center. Pocket clip is a loop over design. It's not a deep ride, and I'm fine with that. As I mentioned in other videos, deep ride clips have become kind of the standard and very popular, but not everything has to be deep concealment, in my opinion. It kind of gets old after a while, to be honest with you. And so you're going to have just a hair, you know, maybe a half inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch sticking out, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So pocket clip's good. Centering's great. The contouring on the G10 is super comfortable, very ergonomic. I get a full 4-finger grip on this knife, you know, being that it's a bit longer than what I typically would kind of lean towards. The ergos are just great. It's super comfortable. No hot spots whatsoever. I've carried this for probably 6 days, and I'm just digging it. I was very surprised. Let's put it that way. And I said as much when I did the unboxing that this knife, when I opened it and I deployed it with the flipper for the first time, I was kind of surprised at how smooth the flipping action is. And then even, you know, as you close it, it just kind of wants to wiggle shut on its own. Just super smooth. It does have a lanyard kind of pass through on the back here, and this is made of G10. So you can put a lanyard through there if that's your preference. I don't tend to run lanyards, but that is an option. So I want to do a quick value comparison on this knife and another knife that I'm going to be reviewing. And depending on which order I post these in, you may see one or the other first, but this is the Kershaw Mini Natrix, and I realize they're very different sizes. I'll line up the tips of the blade there. Very different in size, but D2 steel on the Natrix, D2 steel on the FH21, ball bearings on the Natrix, ball bearings on the FH21. obviously copper on the Natrix and G10 on the FH21, but you're looking at $60 versus $30. And really the only thing you're getting with the Natrix is the copper. So in my opinion, if you took this exact knife, and to my knowledge, there's no other knife manufacturer, like major knife manufacturer that makes a knife that looks like this. So as far as I know, this is not a clone or a copy of any other knife company's design that I'm aware of. If you think it is, you can let me know. But for what you're getting for $30, genuine D2 steel, ball bearings, and just a buttery smooth action, I'm sold. And maybe this is the new direction for Firebird and Ganzo knives. And if that's the case, then I'm pleasantly surprised. Anything that they make that I see on Amazon that is a flat out copy of a Delica 4 or a Benchmade Griptilian, I'm going to stay away from. I don't endorse buying just complete rip-offs of knife designs. And to my knowledge, and again, I could be wrong, this is not a direct copy or rip-off of a design. It does appear to be an original design to Firebird or Ganzo. And so for that reason, I'm perfectly happy owning this knife, carrying this knife, and I'll probably be buying several more. As far as liners are concerned, you do have stainless steel liners if you can see those in there. If I can get a focus here. They're not skeletonized, which $30, I wouldn't expect it. One thing that's really stood out to me about this knife is that there's a generous entry into the liner lock. And as I mentioned on the Kershaw Natrix review, which you may or may not have seen yet, again, depending on which order I post these, that liner lock is just beautifully chamfered and beveled in such a way that when your thumb enters the locking mechanism, it's smooth. Like it feels smooth to the touch. There's no sharp edge, and it's so easy to disengage. And it's just so fun to play with. I like everything about it. The design, the color, the blade shape, the materials, the ball bearings, all that for $30 is just insane to me. And I really was blown away with the quality of this knife at that price point. So thank you, John, for sending this. I do highly recommend this knife. I don't know that you can get these features, these materials, and this quality for that price anywhere else. So that is the Ganzo Firebird model FH21, $30, and it's going to be a part of my EDC rotation for a long time to come, I think. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, John, super generous. Thank you for sending it. Hopefully I don't have to use the Band-Aid. I flipped this thing and closed it probably 400 or 500 times at this point, and I have not cut myself yet, so fingers crossed. Again, thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon, and stay tuned for a couple other knife reviews coming up here shortly, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.